Hello friends, today I'm with you a new topic as the difference between rework and repair. This question frequently asked by interviewer with the participants: how we control rework or repair product, or what is the definition of rework and repair as per ISO 9000 or IATF. So before we discuss further, so dear friend, you can connect with me through my YouTube channel to learn more and more about various topics. So my YouTube channel is in the name of Ashish Agarwal Corporate Trainer. Actually, the reality is very few companies they are able to differentiate between repair or rework. Maybe the reason we do not want to officially recognize it demands of stringent control as per the clause 8.714, 8.715 of IATF. So if we see the clause, both the clauses closely, there is hardly any difference except few words like if required, customer approval, shall obtain customer approval, compliance to original specification. But manufacturing companies, they don't have control, or we can say the adequate controls on their manufacturing process. In a result, they need to initiation of disposition processes. So first thing what we are going to learn now, what is the disposition of the part. So dear friend, when we talk about the product disposition, generally there are 5 stages. Segregation you do whenever you have some suspected NG parts. You do rework activity when you found part is not conforming. You do repair when you found part is not conforming. There may be some deviation in the part from its spec, or sometime you need to reject or scrap the part, which cannot be rework or repair, or if there is no deviation allowed. So dear friend, the actual situation is organization don't have effective repair and rework process, well defined repair and rework process. So disposition of the product by repair process, many a times companies or organization, they are not able to justify or to convince their customer about what repair process being followed by the organization, by the suppliers. So dear friend, from customer side, they have defined a tedious approval process, and it make difficult to get the deviation note also from the customer. So first of all, we are going to discuss what is rework. What is the definition of the rework? So rework is action on a non-conforming product or service to make it to conform to the requirements of the customer. For example, for better understanding, a simple example is there. Suppose after the machining process of a part, we found the thickness is out of its spec, more than the spec, or you can say from more than the upper limit as per the size tolerance. So we rework it by doing the remachining to make it conform to the requirement, or whatever the tolerance is provided on the thickness of the part. Another example of rework is, suppose we have a gearbox housing. It was rejected, or it was found to be non-conforming product due to extra metal, which may probably cause the fouling issue during the use or during the assembly. So the process engineer, it took a action to remove the extra material from gearbox housing, and finally it meets as per the customer demand or customer drawing. So this action taken by the process engineer is the rework process, because by doing the temporary work or rework, it meets the customer requirement and product is looks as new. You will not going to find any difference in a product which is as per customer requirement. Now we are going to discuss what is a repair. So repair is action on a non-conforming product or service to make it acceptable for the intended use. Suppose for example, after the machining process, the actual size is less than the size tolerance. So lower limit as per the size. So we repair after filling some materials by welding process, then we go with the remachining to make it acceptable for the intended use. But dear friend, in this process, extra process is added, welding process, which is not as per the process flow diagram. We are adding material also, a different material. So weld material and actual base material may not be the same. We are adding another material which is not approved by the customer. So this welding process, this weld material is not approved by the customer. We don't have the customer approval. There is a change from the process flow diagram. There is change in the 4M condition. So dear friend, another example to differentiate between rework and repair. This is a real life example. Suppose there is a flat tire. You are fixing a flat tire by putting a plug in the tire or putting a patch on the tube. So this is called repairing the tire, because the tire is not as good as new. It doesn't look like a brand new. And rework example which is related to tire. Suppose pressure is low in the tire. So you are adding pressure. So it brings back to the operational pressure. So putting the air in the tire, that is one example of rework. So by putting extra air to the tire to bring it to operational pressure, so it looks to the okay parts. It looks like a new part. So there is no change in the physical appearance of the tire. So this is the rework process. So dear friend, this repair and rework activity, it is a very common activity in manufacturing companies. You do lot of repair activity, you carry out lot of rework activity in your day-to-day production activity, but still we are not very clear about it. This question is being asked frequently in interviews. So now we are going to discuss the requirement of the IATF 16949 or ISO 9001, what it says. So IATF standard, it has come with the clarity between the two as per the clause number 8.7.1.4 and 8.7.1.5. ISO 2000-9000, it also clarified the definition of repair and rework. So as per IATF 16949, what is the definition? So IATF clarify as per their first edition of 2016. So this standard include some new words like interested parties, risk, context, product safety, corporate policies, embedded software, TPM, temporary change, interim action, error proofing, repair, etc. So objective of these new terminology is for better understanding about the customer specific requirement who are dealing to automotive sector. So as per IATF, they are subscribing as OER. So first of all, we need to understand what is repair as per the ISO 9000/2015 clause number 3.12.9. So what it says, repair is an action on a non-conforming product or services to make it acceptable for the intended use. So we do processing in such a way that ensure it is acceptable for the intended use. So a successful repair of a non-conforming product or service does not necessarily make the product or service conform to the requirement. It may not be necessary after doing the repair activity. So this is the definition by the ISO 9000/2015. So another example for better understanding about the repair. Suppose you have a hole in a part and drilled hole is having the higher diameter than the required one. Hole of the dia is oversized. So this has been repaired by filling the hole with welding material and again carried out with drilling operation or some other operation to acquire hole diameter as per the size tolerance. So dear friend, IATF 16949 clause number 8.7.1.5, it says about the control of the repaired products. What it says, the organization shall utilize risk analysis, or we can say FMEA methodology, to assess risk in the repair process prior to decision to repair the product. So first you have to do the FMEA before starting the repair activity. Now the organization shall obtain approval from the customer before to commence repairing of the product. You need to get the approval in documented form from the customer. Now organization shall have a documented process of repair. After getting the approval, now there is a well defined process, a documented process, how we are going to carry out repair activity with the control plan or other relevant documented information. Instruction for disassembly. Suppose we have to repair a assembly including reinspection and traceability of the product which has been repaired. So this document, this traceability shall be accessible to and utilized by the appropriate personnel. Now organization shall obtain a documented customer authorization for the concession for the product to be repaired. So because you have to take a limited approval or limited quantity approval or limited time approval to carry out the repair activity. So the organization shall retain documented information on the disposition of the repair product, including the quantity, disposition date and applicable traceability information. So this is the process defined by IATF 16949 to control repair product. So dear friend, this clause is one of the 21 mandatory procedure in this standard. Another point you have to note down, there are total 6 times shall word use comparative to 5 times shall word use in rework clause. So what we do to fulfill the requirement of IATF standard, we should have a format and which fulfills requirement of shall retain documented information. So we should have a format which is required to be retain, to keep the documented information. So it should include this format should include what? Roles and responsibility of the person, instruction for disassembly or repair, re-inspection after repair, traceability, verification for availability of concession from customer for repair, disposition of the repair product, quantity and disposition date. So dear friend, what is the requirement to control the rework product? So as per the IATF, for rework part, organization shall prepare the PFMEA with respect to risk in the rework activity. The unit shall obtain approval from the customer if required by the customer. The unit shall lay down rework procedure, control plan or other relevant document. The organization shall maintain a record of rework product parts including quantity, disposition, date, traceability information. So dear friend, these above 4 requirements required to be established by the organization, by the supplier, if there is an existence of rework product or items. So dear friend, if we summarize the thing, in case of the repair product, the organization must have to obtain the approval and customer authorization for a deviation, for a concession from the customer. That is the mandatory requirement for repair product. And for the rework, it is the wish of the customer whether he want the approval process or not. So dear friend, don't forget to like the video if you found the video useful. So you can connect through me by my YouTube channel, which is in the name of Ashish Agarwal Corporate Trainer. Thank you very much.